Welcome everyone here to the Smash Evening Show right here on Smash FM. Of course, here on a Monday. Of course, let's go to our friends over in the UK, and of course, speak with the country pop artist over there who's currently in the back end of her amazing tour at the moment, which of the month of November. Of course, she's been very busy as well, doing amazing gigs around the UK. Her name's Rhiannon Paige. She joins us right now. Thanks, Rhiannon, for joining us.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Well, as I mentioned, you've had a pretty busy schedule in the month of November. Obviously, you got three gigs coming up in the next couple of days to end
Yeah.
November. Tell us how surreal has this month been for you, and especially after a pretty quiet October.
So yeah, it's been a pretty hectic November, but yeah, I like keeping myself nice and busy. I feel like October, I had lots of like family commitments, like birthdays. My brother got married, which was lovely. So yeah, like November, I've got like a nice quiet week this week with only three gigs, which is nice. But the prior weeks have been a bit like crazy, but I got through the last week, which is good.
But one particular venue you went to was Ashton Gate
Yeah.
Stadium a couple of weeks ago. Tell us about the experience of going to that amazing stadium.
Yeah, so that was pretty surreal. It was absolutely terrifying, but it was like once in a lifetime opportunity. And obviously, yeah, getting to sing the Australian national anthem was amazing. But yeah, like the whole experience from start to finish, I loved it so much. But yeah, it was definitely a very terrifying moment, and you've kind of got 1 minute in order to make sure you make no mistakes. But yeah, no, it was amazing.
Out of the venues that you've been and all the places that you've been to, is there one that stands out to you the most?
I mean, I mean, obviously doing the national anthem at Ashton Gate, that was definitely probably the most surreal moment. But if I was just saying like a venue as such, I mean, I played an originals gig in London at the Water Rats in King's Cross. That was really, I've done it twice there, but especially like the first one, the audience, everything, they were just amazing. Like you could hear a pin drop when you were singing, which was amazing. Um, so yeah, I definitely say that's up there with one of the top. But yeah, there's so many amazing venues that I do get to play, which is really, really nice. But yeah, they're probably like the top two, I'd say.
Your three gigs that you got coming up is in Cheltenham, Melksham, and Nilsea. For special our listeners who are hope well either on their way to the UK as we speak and hopefully get to watch this, or already
Yeah.
in the UK. I'm assuming is there still tickets they can still get for those three coming up on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday?
So with those ones, they're actually free gigs. So I full time, I'm like a full time musician, and I do both like originals and also kind of like the cover side of things. So those three are actually you're welcome to just kind of rock up sort of thing, and come along whenever it's kind of like a proper ticketed event. So like I'm planning a tour for next year in May, like a proper just originals tour in May, rather than just like standard shows going about. So with those ones, obviously, like there'll be ticket links and everything, but everything is always stated in like on my social media, my Facebook, my Instagram, and everything like that. So yeah.
Have you got any more gigs coming up for the rest of, well, especially December? Now we're about to hit the festive season.
Yeah, so it's a busy month again in December. Um, I know that I'm going, like I've got like private work up in London and everything. So there's a lot of traveling about in December, which is always great, but very, very tiring, obviously. But yeah, no, so a busy December. I'll post that out. I suppose it's only the end of this week, isn't it?
It
God,
is.
the month's so quick. Wow.
Talk a bit about your music journey. Where did it all start, and why did you choose it?
So I was actually born 70% deaf in both my with loss of hearing in both my ears.
Okay.
So it wasn't until like the age of around like 8 or 9 that I regained my hearing. And I think like I always loved the idea of like being on stage, performing and everything like that. but then I kind of decided I went to drama school to do like theatre and stuff for uni, and then I kind of was like, oh, I don't, I'm not really like vibing with this. I really want to kind of just write my own stuff. I want to get out there, do it for me rather than having to like wait on other people, sort of thing. And yeah, like I just fell in love with music. I mean, my dad's been a massive inspiration. I've grown up on so many different genres of music and everything. And he's like a drummer, so he's got like real passion behind it as well. But yeah, I just love it. It's all I've really kind of wanted to do, and yeah, get a lot of enjoyment.
Any highlights throughout your music journey so far?
I mean, all of it is. I feel like, especially as like a musician, like I used to think I was very like alone and thinking, oh, like I haven't kind of made it yet, or I haven't done this, and someone else is doing this, and I'm not doing that, and but then you kind of like realize that actually, like if you were to look at where you were a year ago, the amount of things that you've done within that year to get to where you are now is like incredible. So I think it was just like the whole like overall process of it, like the ups, the downs, like do you know what I mean? Like getting to do like the national anthem and stuff like that. They're all like amazing things. And so like put it all together, I just think everything has been pretty surreal.
And why did you end up choosing country pop as your genre?
So I was brought up on a lot of like rock music. And I do have quite like a powerful voice. So I definitely think if I wasn't doing country, I'd probably steer towards more like the rockier side of things. But I think I was introduced to by my dad to a band called Blackberry Smoke, which are very like southern rock. And then obviously they've got that kind of like country southern sound, which then led on to me listening to other artists, like First Aid Kit, Casey Musgraves, and all stuff like that. And I was like, I really like this. And I love the way that country is literally three chords and the truth. Like I can express exactly how I'm feeling in my writing, and it's okay to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't have to dally around the point. I can just write exactly from the heart, which I love. And yeah, I think it's a really beautiful community.
What does music mean to you now?
It's just, it is my life. Like I wouldn't be able to do like life without doing music. Do you know what I mean? And it's everything I think about. I wake up and the first thing I think of is like, oh, how am I gonna get like progress better? Like, oh, I've got like my life is surrounded by music. So yeah, like it just is like everything to me, as cheesy as it sounds. It really is. So
do you have any future goals in music now?
So I think obviously doing like the originals tour in May, like that's a massive thing I've really wanted to do for a long time. And it's allowed me to like push myself out of my comfort zone, because I've always been like, oh, like if I do it, will it go down well and everything like that. So yeah, that's like a massive thing for me, but I'm gonna do it. I would also love to release like an album, because obviously currently I've done an EP, I've got singles out and everything, but like an album, I feel like is a chunk of work that you can be like, yeah, I've done this. So yeah, like doing an album at some point would be really, really cool. And then just like progressing further. I mean, like obviously everyone wants to reach the top and everything, but I'm quite like content with just, you know, life will take me where it needs to take me. And, you know, like I'm happy, as long as I'm happy doing it along the way, then, you know, we're all good.
You have a song called, or hopefully it's a song or an EP, one of the two, called House of the Rising Sun. Does that? Yep.
Yeah.
Pre-save?
So that's coming out this Friday, the 29th. Yeah. So that's a cover. I mean, I'm assuming you've heard the song House of the Rising Sun before.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's my cover of it, coming out this Friday, which I'm very, very excited for. So yeah.
So how long in the making has this one come?
So actually, I feel like this one has been a bit like quicker in the process, because it's always that awkward period between like Christmas and New Year and everything. So um obviously like people are getting ready for Christmas and stuff, so like if you're to release like an original song in that time, everyone's on the Christmas music and everything, so like no one's necessarily like following along your like journey at that point sort of thing. So I was like, okay, so after releasing Holding Out for a Hero and it did so well that I was like, okay, let's do another like cover and see how it goes, and I'll put it in between this time frame, because then hopefully, obviously with it being a song that people know, people naturally like gravitate more towards it. So yeah, so it has been a slightly quicker process because I was like, okay, right, I'm gonna do this. I went to my producer and I was like, right, we need to record this, I need it by then, and this when it's gonna happen and everything. So yeah, it's been a slightly quicker process and probably I would have liked to have done, but it's done now. So
What would be your advice to people that should get involved in music?
I want to get involved in music. I would just say, like, don't ever give up. Like, if you want to do something, like everything is achievable. Like I say, like I was born hard of hearing, so like I was literally tone deaf, and I've never had singing lessons or anything like that. And so it truly is like when you put your mind to something and you keep at it, like you can achieve anything. So yeah, I'd say just keep pushing something if you really, really want it.
I'm intrigued by your story, and especially how you started. And you mentioned now a couple of times that obviously, when you were born, you were 70% tone deaf. So how did it evolve from 70% tone deaf to obviously now being a music artist? What sort of thing did it help you um, to be what you are now, and especially starting, I guess, for most people, I guess,
Mm.
bit behind in regard to like hearing.
It's really hard because I don't remember what point like I was able to sing sort of thing. My mum always says to me like, I remember when you said to me like that you want to be on stage and you want to be a singer and stuff, and I just kind of thought in my mind like, oh god, like how do I tell her she's never going to be able to do that, because like I just couldn't sing. But yeah, I think, I don't know, like I say, it is like the perseverance with it. And
Mm.
I think I kind of just got to a point, and then I started gigging and doing like open mics and everything like that. And I started off, I was in a duo, and everything like that. And it built my confidence. Like the more you get out and perform, the more confident you get. And at the start, like you're so terrified. But the more I did it and the more I did it, the better I got. And even when I only started doing music full time like 2 years ago. And like I left uni and I wasn't amazing at playing guitar. Like I could play it, but I wasn't anything like amazing. But the more I would just like keep performing and performing, the better I got at it. So I would say like the key to becoming better and being more successful is just getting out there. There's so many people that obviously like are too scared to do it and will just sit at home and obviously do it online and everything. And that's great. But then I just think as soon as you're put in a situation where you have to then go and perform, you're going to be so scared to do it. So I think, yeah, the key is to just get out there, like have fun with it, go busking. Like I used to do busking and stuff like that. Like just get out there and just have fun with it, and build that confidence more and more.
Let's follow on from that. How important is the perseverance of it, and is that your motivation, like, or your drive throughout your music journey?
Yeah, I think my drive is always like making myself and like my family like proud and everything.
Mm.
And I think you always like in the back of your mind, you're always thinking like, oh, am I doing enough and stuff like that. But honestly, like the key to everything is just making sure you're happy. Like I see so many like musicians. I work with loads of musicians and they come through and they're like really down and stuff. And because it's such a challenging industry, it really is. And there's so much like overthinking with it, like the online stuff, like it's horrible. Like one person could just like you could have 20 people write amazing comments and then one person could write a negative comment and it can really like bring you down. And I
Mm.
think the thing is you have to just like step outside of it and be like, you can't like lose the love for it, if that makes sense. Like you have to remain like enjoying it. As soon as like it becomes a job or you start not enjoying something, I think that's when you have to take a step back and then like rebuild yourself back to like get into it. um so I think like just, yeah, persevering, but making sure you're happy
Mm.
in the meantime.
We'll finish with these last two. For everyone that should follow you on the socials or through their favorite streaming services, especially to listen to your music, how can I go about it?
So Instagram, it's Rhiannon Paige _music. And then obviously with like Facebook, YouTube, anything like that, it's just Rhiannon Paige. Just remember to put the I in Page because a lot of people just put Page, but Page. It's the one thing that's like the hardest to like get through people. Like people literally see my name and still write it without the I, and I'm like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. But yeah. And then streaming platforms, everything is under Rhiannon Page. Spotify, Amazon, anything that you kind of most all the streaming platforms, it's all on there. So yeah.
And of course, I'd be missing me to ask a two-part question. The first part is any plans coming down to the land down under?
Do you know what? I would absolutely love to. And I've always thought about like even just moving across the world. So I'm hoping one day I can definitely do it. But yeah, I think I just need to keep like building on my stance like over here in the UK and stuff. And then absolutely I will be there in a heartbeat. Like I feel like deep down I'm an Australian, you know.
And then the second part is very similar in some ways, but obviously being country pop side of things. Obviously the world's famous one is in Nashville, in Tennessee, in the US. Is any chances going across the ocean to the US and especially performing in Nashville?
So I have thought about it a lot, and I keep like one day it's going to happen. When it's going to happen, I don't know. But I would love to take like my full band over to Nashville at some point, and everything like that. I know a lot of people that have been going over there at the minute, so I definitely could get the contacts for sure. But yeah, that is definitely going to happen. Probably 2026
Okay.
vibes. I was hoping 2025, but the year goes by so quick that we're pretty much there now. So maybe like 2026, I'm definitely going to plan to get over there for sure.
Just mentioned about your band. Tell us a bit about your band.
So I started up my band maybe like about a year ago now. I used to be in like a covers band before I went off to uni and everything. I basically stolen that band essentially. So like I say, my dad's a drummer. So my dad is my drummer, which is amazing. And then all of us, we get on so well that it's just like the perfect thing for it. And yeah, like we've been working really hard to like build up my songs, like even that aren't out, to like making them sound like proper songs, I guess. And everything. So yeah, I absolutely love it. Like having a band has been like one of the best things for me. It just like elevates your performance up just another notch. Like, and yeah, I love doing band gigs. Like I say, when I do my tour, I'm gonna go to London and obviously one in Bristol, and I'm doing two up north, but I'm going to do them as solo. But the London and the Bristol one, we're going to have the full band and everything. And yeah, I'm really excited. So
we'll make sure we'll hit you up next year, and you can tell us a bit more about the band, a bit more.
Yeah.
But it's so awesome to have you on the show. Definitely, you are our first and only UK artist we've ever had on the show.
Yeah.
So you can, I can definitely say that. And it's so awesome to have you on the show. Obviously, you got three amazing gigs coming up this weekend, in particular Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Good knowledge.
Hopefully that all goes well, and obviously we'll hopefully get to check back with you sometime next year and see how's your music side of things traveling along, especially with the House of the Rising Sun coming up this weekend.
Yes, amazing. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
No worries. And that's Rhiannon Paige there joining us there. Of course, we'll put all the details up on how you can follow her music And of course, if you're in the UK this weekend in particular, of course, we'll put her last three gigs for the month of November before obviously she'll post her December schedule lined up as well sometime next week. There's more on the Smasher evening show right after this. Don't go away here on the 10th year celebration.